this is the VW Polo R-Line. And this is the VW Polo GTI. And today, we're going to look at their differences, the intricate details, and try to answer the question, which one should you buy? Let's get into the video. So first of all, let's look at all the intricate details. Now, at first glance, the cars look pretty similar until you pay close attention. I think the main areas that look different is actually the lower apron on the lower section of the bumper. On the GTI, you have a honeycomb effect and grille, as you can see. On the R-Line, you have some slats. This one is going to be very difficult. So as you can see, you have all those slats and it looks like the mouth of a shark in a way. But I have to say, the Polo R-Line actually looks a bit more premium because there's a glossy black finish, which just looks a bit more refined. Whereas on the GTI, you have more traditional looking black plastic, which is not as pleasant. But this being a GTI, has a GTI badge. There is the GTI red strap that runs across the entire grille and all the way into the headlights. Now both cars are spec'd with the IQ lights. They come as standard on the GTI, but they are an optional extra on the R-Line. Now let's get into rims. Now standard, the GTI comes with 17-inch rims, but you can upgrade to these 18 inches. On the R-Line, it comes as standard with 16-inch rims, and you can upgrade to these diamond cut 17 inches. Looks very clean. Now do let me know which one you think looks better overall when it comes to the front. Now side profile, they look pretty much exactly the same. They have the same body creases, sharp lines, side skirts, and yeah, if we go around to the R-Line, as you can see, same body creases, same side skirts, and yeah, side silhouette is exactly the same. As you can see, the roof spoiler is exactly the same. There we go, same roof spoiler. Oh, one detail I forgot to mention. The R-Line has an R badge on the grille. The GTI has a GTI badge on the front fender, and the R-Line has an R badge on the front fender. The GTI has red brake calipers. The R-Line has non-painted calipers. Yeah, if we go around to the rear, the tail lights are exactly the same. You get these LED tail lights with the IQ light option, and as you can see, they look exactly the same on the GTI. GTI has a GTI badge, whereas the R-Line has a Polo badge. This one has a custom touch, so the owner has put an R badge, which is pretty cool and pretty unique. Now, speaking of owner, this Polo R-Line belongs to a fellow friend and creator, Peace. Check out his YouTube channel, Peace in Ndlovu, which I'll also link down in the description below. And this one, I'm sure you're all familiar with. This is the AngelDust Edition Polo GTI, and it of course belongs to AngelDust, who's now also a creator on YouTube. Check out his YouTube channel, which is in the description below. Now let's see if there are any differences with the interiors. We start with the GTI. So a quick rundown of the interiors. Now in terms of layout, they look exactly the same. Now the seats in the GTI are slightly different in the sense that they're a bit more sportier, and you can also get them in leather, whereas you can't get them in leather on the R-Line. But once you jump in, like I mentioned, the layout is exactly the same. The other difference is you can choose different colored trimmings on the dashboard. So you can get this red, you can get a sort of titanium grayish. I think that might be the only options. The instrument cluster looks similar, but this being a GTI, it is clustered with some red touches, as you can see around the rev counter and the speedo. And yeah, you can change to different views. As you can see, you have some red detailing everywhere because this is a GTI. Gear lever looks similar, but in the GTI has this red striping, and also on the steering wheel there's this red striping, there's red stitching, there's a GTI badge. And other than that, everything is pretty much exactly the same. So the R-Line. So the R-Line has unique seats. They are covered in Alcantara. They have an R badge. There is some interesting striping. It almost looks a bit more interesting than the GTI, I have to say. Hey, let's jump back. So, like I said, the layout is exactly the same. Steering wheel looks similar, but this one has an R badge, but there is no colored stitching. And yeah, it ends there. Instrument cluster, the layout looks exactly the same. The menus and also the layout of the buttons, you can change to different views. And I mean, the menus are also exactly the same, but on the R-Line you have some blue touches in the background there instead of the red. And the R-Line comes with a matte dark finish on the front fascia of the dashboard. And yeah, the buttons are exactly the same. It's the same car, essentially. It is the same car. Okay, so the main factor that will influence your decision is actually the price. So let's talk pricing. Now, the Polo R-Line currently retails at 487,000 rands. But we're going to create a more realistic scenario, and we're going to go for a price that will be more realistic for a spec car. So let's say once you add your IQ lights, sunroof, and a few other nitty-gritties. So let's say it'll go up to 520,000 rands. Now let's break down the finance. Now at 520,000 rands, you're looking at roughly a monthly payment of 10,500 rands. Now this is at 13% interest rate over a payment term of 72 months. And in terms of insurance, do visit hippo.co.za for all your insurance codes. I've managed to get 10 different insurance codes for the Polo R-Line, and the lowest I could get for this car is 2,200 rand. Now, GTI. So the price has recently been bumped up even more. Now, this currently retails at 573,000 rands. And like with the Polo R-Line, we'll look at a more realistic scenario. So once you add your sunroof, your rims, your leather, and a few other nitty-gritties, let's say the car goes up to 600,000 rands. Now, at 600,000 rands, you're looking at a monthly payment of roughly 12,000 rands. This is once again at an interest rate of 13% over a payment term of 72 months. Now, I've also gotten 10 insurance quotes from hippo.co.za on the GTI, and the lowest I could get was 2,900 rands. Guys, check out Hippo on hippo.co.za, where you can get up to 12 comparative insurance quotes. All you need to do is visit the website, enter your details, the details of your vehicle, and it'll generate some quotes for you to choose from. I have left a link down in the description below and pinned a pinned comment in the comments section. Check out Hippo on hippo.co.za. So, other than the price, the other main difference between the two is, of course, the engine. Now we'll start with the R-Line. Now this car is powered by a 1-liter turbo 3-cylinder making 85 kilowatts and 200 Newton meters of torque. Now, the main party piece of the GTI is, of course, its engine. It's powered by the EA888, which is a 2-liter turbo 4-cylinder with 147 kilowatts and 320 newton meters of torque. Now, it's mated to a 6-speed dual clutch transmission, whereas the R-Line is mated to a 7-speed. So, driving experience in the Polo R-Line. Now, I'll not waste any time because overall this is a great car. It drives phenomenal, very comfortable, easy to live with on a day-to-day basis, very easy on fuel consumption in the sense that it's actually quite good. So I think VW claims 5.4 liters per 100 kilometers. And yeah, you can easily do that number or even get it slightly lower. So the decision is a tough one because it mainly boils down to the pricing of the two cars. So it mainly goes down to affordability. So yeah, the GTI being slightly more expensive is in turn slightly more difficult to acquire, and I think that is where the decision boils down to. So the cars are pretty much exactly the same to a certain extent in terms of how they feel inside. The ride comfort also feels very similar, although it's slightly sharper in the GTI. Actually, you'll get into that once we're sitting inside the GTI. But in here, it's a great place to be. You have app connectivity, which is wireless. So you have wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. The stereo system is quite good for a non-branded sound system. VW do know how to make some good sound systems. So yeah, this is an amazing car, people. This is an amazing car. So, you know, I joined me inside the GTI. Now, the GTI is everything that the R-Line is, but with some crazy sauce like this. There is to it. The difference in price and the difference in performance. And as you all know, you do pay for performance. Manufacturers do charge for performance. Now remember I said the ride comfort also feels similar. The GTI is just a tad bit sharper, because it also sits about 15 millimeters lower in ride height. So it has special, unique, calibrated sports suspension. Oh man, and that extra torque is just so noticeable. This car has 120 Newton meters more torque, which, I mean, you can't even mistake it. As soon as you jump into the car you drive, you notice it immediately, the extra power. And yeah, those are the differences between the two. So, which one should you buy? It's actually a very difficult question to answer, but I'd say if you can afford the GTI, then definitely go for the GTI. Because like I said, the GTI is everything that the R-Line is, plus the added performance. That is it. That is all there is to the two cars. And when it comes to livability, maintenance, and yada yada yada, well, the perspective of this video is if you're buying new. I didn't really want to look into the used market. I only want to focus on them being bought new. maintenance. Both cars come with a warranty and a service plan from factory, so you have that peace of mind from both cars. So if you can afford the GTI, do definitely go for the GTI. If you can't afford the GTI and you can only afford the R-Line, like I said, the GTI is everything that the R-Line is. The only thing that you'll miss out on is the performance, and if you don't care about performance, then absolutely go for the R-Line. It is totally going to be fine. Like, you're going to be happy with it. Like I said, the R-Line is amazing to live with on a day-to-day basis. It has enough performance for using every day. It's easy to pull overtakes and all that jazz. Now, as you can see, the lighting is pretty dark because we've actually reached nighttime during this shoot. But yeah, that is my 2 cents with this video. I really do hope you guys enjoyed it. Big thanks to the owners of these cars. Do remember to check out their YouTube channels, which I've linked down in the description below. Big thanks to Hippo as well. Do remember to check out hippo.co.za for all your insurance codes. That is cheers from me.